Okay, fine, fine, fine. Now, this is the last chapter of your unit 2, and at the same time, unit 3 also will be starting. So, this will be done parallelly together. Okay, 2 and 3. Now, types of reasoning. Now, first of all, what do you mean by reasoning? Reasoning, what it actually stands for? Reason. Reason is something, the fact, again, that derives. Okay. So, whenever any of the situation occurs, giving the reason means what? Yes. Giving the reason means deriving the information, deriving the knowledge, isn't it? Reason देना यानी क्या जो है वो fact को और derive करने का. Am I clear? Okay. So the reasoning which is divided into the following categories. So there are different types of reasoning that we can see. The first one is the deductive reasoning, then inductive reasoning, abductive reasoning, common sense reasoning, monotonic reasoning, and non-monotonic. Okay. Now again, before going for this, I would like to share one PowerPoint, and then it will be more clear to you about the reasoning. Okay. Let's elaborate this. We call it as a automated reasoning. Just a minute. Okay. Hope this PPT is clear. You can see the PPT here. Yes, can you see the PPT? Blue color PPT, this automated reasoning. Just I'm giving you the background. So for that purpose, I just loaded this PPT. Can you see the PPT? Okay. Yes, can you all see the PPT now? Automated. Fine, fine, fine. Good. Okay. Now, so let's see. The following points will be going to discuss what exactly automated reasoning is. Okay. See now what you can find out from this particular diagram. What this diagram states. In the brain, you can find lot of information that exists. Means huge knowledge that exists. Many things are there. Fine. And now we are trying to derive the knowledge. We are trying to extract the things we are deriving. We are processing everything we are applying, right? So that is what the automated reasoning is going to do. So reasoning, it is a process of deriving the new statements, as already I had mentioned. So reasoning means already you have a knowledge and we are inheriting it, deriving it further. Okay. From other statements by the argument. So for reasoning to be correct, this process should generally preserve the truth. So there should be some truthness with the valid arguments or with the valid parameters. Okay. So that generates the need for reason. Okay. So how can we be sure our arguments are valid? So reasoning takes place in many different ways in everyday life. Let's see now. This is very much connected with our day-to-day functioning or the day-to-day behavior in the life. Word of authority. It derives the conclusion from a trusted source. Experimental science. It formulates the hypothesis and try to confirm or falsify them by experiment. Sampling. It analyzes the evidence statistically to identify patterns. Mathematics. We derive conclusions based on deductive proofs. Okay. So are any of the methods valid again? Apart from this, whatever we have studied? Yes, there are many. Now, along with this reasoning, what occurs there? The proof. So for centuries, mathematical proof has been the hallmark of logical validity. But there is still a social aspect as peers have to be convinced by argument. So proof is a repeatable experiment in persuasion. Okay, as stated by Jim Horning. So this process is open to flaws. For example, James acclaimed 1879 proof of the four color theorem, etc. You can find it here. Okay. So for centuries, proof was showing something, breaking down into the agreed upon steps. Proof is like, see, we come out with some expression or we come out with some fact and we try to derive it. Okay. And we generate the evidences that will generate the proof, the evidences that justify what are the what kind of fact it is. Okay. Take an example. Now there are 7 days in a week. When we say 7 days in a week, so you had experienced each and every individual day, and this 7 days makes 1 week. So like this, the 4 weeks makes 1 month. Okay, 30 days makes 1 month. 12 months make 1 year, or 365 days or 366 days makes 1 year. So this, all this, each and every individual level execution of all these facts, they generate in terms of some proof. Okay. So there are social aspects as peers have to be convinced by the argument. And however, this process is open to flaws. Now, could automation avoid the flaws? So we can require that a proof be a deductive chain of inference. Formalization of proof using the logics. Now, what is the formal logic and all? We can be sure that there are no hidden premises or unjustified steps by reasoning according to logical formula. Like all humans are mortal. Suppose Socrates is a human, therefore then Socrates is a mortal. So the validity of this proof is independent of meaning that human is a mortal. All human beings are mortal. And Socrates is one of the human beings. So even a nonsense substitution gives a valid sentence. Suppose all Borgros are M.SC I.T. Suppose a Momrat is a Borgro. So therefore a Momrat is M.SC I.T. Okay, all these are the referred examples which you can find it on any of the online sources again. All P's are Q. Suppose X is a P, therefore X is a Q. So if X is a P, then X is Q. That means P's are Q's. Okay. So all these are the formal proofs. Then symbolic logic. The modern notion of symbolic proof was developed in the late 19th and 20th century by logicians and mathematics. You can find the names as given here. The benefit of this formal logic is that it is based on pure syntax. It is precisely defined symbolic logic in symbolic language, sorry, with procedures for transforming symbolic statements into other statements. There exists no intuition or interpretation which is needed. Okay. So what exactly automated reasoning is? It refers to the reasoning in computer using the logic. Now we are talking about, just try to align these particular concepts. That why we are learning this automated reasoning. Now this will help you to construct a model which will be able to find the solutions, or which will be able to link with the solutions for any of the problem, assigned problem. Like it might be the diagnosis of the patient. So the AI based applications related to any of the domain. So the automated reasoning has been an active area of research since the 50s. So traditionally viewed as a part of AI now, but not machine learning. And AI and machine learning, they are not same again. It uses the deductive reasoning to tackle problems such as constructing the formal mathematical proofs, verifying that programs meet their specifications, modeling human reasoning. Okay. Now there is another, that is a default reasoning. Now I'll not go into that monotonic. Okay. There exists a system called as truth maintenance system. Now you can see the diagram again, which is given. I'll come to that diagram later. Okay. So just to give you the background about the reasoning. Okay. We had just referred the slides. Now let's come back. We'll be back to the other screen. Okay. Yes, can you all see the screen now? Types of reasoning. Can you all see the types of reasoning? Okay, fine. So the first one, so as we had discussed, that reasoning which is used kind of deriving the facts and all. So deductive reasoning, it is deducing the new information from logically related known information. It is the form of valid reasoning, which means the argument's conclusion must be true when the premises are true. It is a type of propositional logic in AI, and it requires various rules and facts. Okay. So it is also referred to as top-down reasoning and contradictory to inductive reasoning. Let's take the example. Like all the human eats veggies, and now Suresh is a human. Now what it states? That Suresh eats veggies. So the conclusion. So what type of fact was presented? What was the fact which was just simply presented? All human eats veggies, and Suresh is a human. That means Suresh eats veggies. So this is the intelligence. Just I want to show you in terms of the example. So this is the inbuilt mathematics which the human being is having. We automatically apply the law of transitivity, isn't it? So similarly, the same laws has to be explained to the system, AI-based system, and they will be applying these laws for deriving such facts. Okay. So the general process of deductive reasoning is like, you can see the theory first. Okay. Then there is a hypothesis, patterns comes, and then there is a confirmation. Okay. So the theory, hypothesis, patterns, and then confirmation. Got it? Okay. Then next is the inductive reasoning. Now again, it is a form of reasoning to arrive at a conclusion using limited sets of facts. Inductive. It starts with the series of specific facts or data and then reaches to a general statement. Okay. Now we can take the example like all of the pigeons we have seen in the zoo are white. अभी हमारे knowledge में क्या है कि that all pigeons are white. Now, if any of the white bird you are saying, you can immediately link it that this is a pigeon. So therefore now we expect all pigeons to be white. तो अभी क्या हो गया हमारा observation था. Okay. Again, I will take the other example. Now all crows are black in color. Okay, all crows are black in color. अभी कल अगर गलती से आपको व्हाइट कलर का बर्ड भी दिख गया, क्रो रहेगा सपोज, now you may not able to recognize him immediately, but somewhere you know the shape or the dimensions and physical attributes of the crow. भाई ये तो पूरा क्रो जैसा, उसका फ्लाइंग स्टाइल भी क्रो जैसा है, आवाज भी काव काव, like it is like a crow only. Okay, and now what is happening, although these particular inputs are going to the human brain, and now he's somewhere recognition that the more the patterns are almost linked, लेकिन कलर के वजह से लाइक, लेकिन भाई क्रो तो कभी व्हाइट कलर का नहीं हो सकता है. ओके, so that is what the inductive reasoning. So there are observations, there are patterns, there are hypotheses, and then comes the theory. Okay, so observations are there, patterns are there, hypothesis, फिर theory. Observation क्या है कि आज तक हमने जो भी ये जो white color pigeons देखे हैं, those are of white colors. You had seen the patterns of different pigeons, you saw many pigeons, but you observed them, or your observation was like they are white in color. You put place the hypothesis. फिर हमने जितना देखा था, जितनी ऑब्जर्वेशन की है, फिर हमने एक हाइपोथेसिस बना दिया, क्या द pigeons are white in color. फिर बाद में और काफी सालों तक यही चलता रहा, कभी भी हमने कोई दूसरे कलर का देखा नहीं, फिर उस थ्योरी बन गई. आई थिंक यू आर गेटिंग इट. सो दिस इज व्हाट द इंडक्टिव रीजनिंग. एनी क्वेश्चंस हियर? यस. सो वी हैड सीन द टू टाइप्स ऑफ रीजनिंग. फर्स्ट वन वाज डिडक्टिव. डिडक्टिव में क्या होता है, थ्योरी पहले आता है, हाइपोथेसिस, फिर पैटर्न्स एंड देन कंफर्मेशन. ओके, तो थ्योरी जैसे भाई ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर इट्स वेजेस, ये थ्योरी है. ओके, and then later comes hypothesis. Okay, then comes patterns. हाइपोथेसिस बनाया, फिर हमने उसके ऑब्जर्वेशन देखे, सब ह्यूमन बीन, ये भी ह्यूमन बीन है, वो भी ह्यूमन बीन है, ये सब लोग वेजेस खाते हैं, और फिर कंफर्म हो गया दैट ऑल ह्यूमन बीन्स आर ईट वेजेस. ओके, so the similarly, now what is the difference between these two? Yes, what is the difference between these two? डिडक्टिव रीजनिंग एंड इंडक्टिव रीजनिंग, दोनों में क्या है डिफरेंस? डिडक्टिव में थ्योरी पहला है. यस, यस, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? प्लीज रिप्लाई. व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस टू? इन इंडक्टिव रीजनिंग, ऑब्जर्वेशंस, right? So there are observation, patterns, hypothesis, theory, and in deductive, theory, hypothesis, patterns, and confirmation. सीधा confirmation, observation नहीं होता है, हम patterns देखते हैं. Okay, exactly. Next is abductive reasoning. Next is what? Abductive reasoning. So it is a form of logical reasoning which starts with single or multiple observations and then seeks to find the most likely explanation or conclusion for the observation. Okay, abductive में, it is a form of logical reasoning which starts with the single or multiple observation and then seeks to find most likely explanation, यानी जो explanation ज़्यादा convincing होता है, और conclusion for the observation. Okay, so the abductive reasoning, it is an extension of deductive reasoning, but in abductive reasoning the premises do not guarantee the conclusion. Okay, the fact premises जो है. तो भाई अभी implication क्या है? The cricket ground is wet if it is raining. Of course, then cricket, तो उसका conclusion क्या है? Cricket ground is wet. Suppose condition ऐसा सामने है कि भाई cricket ground ये गीला है. Abduction देखो, तो आप immediately क्या conclude करोगे? Then it might be raining. या तो बारिश हुआ है. हम immediate reason निकालते देखो, abductive reason. गीला क्यों है? ऐसे ही तो क्या क्रिकेट ग्राउंड, पूरा क्रिकेट ग्राउंड अगर गीला है तो ऐसा बाल्टी से पानी डाल के थोड़ी गीला होगा वो, या खाली टंकी का पानी डाल के थोड़ी गीला होने वाला है. इट विल बी पार्शियल. ओके, सो व्हेन इट इज अ कंप्लीटली वेट, ओके, सो वी कैन से We can Madhurya. Okay. Common sense reasoning. So what is the objective? What happens in the objective? We are, yes, we are trying to just come out with the most likely explanation or conclusion. जो most likely conclusion होता है, बराबर? So we believe on that particular conclusion or explanation. Okay. Next comes common sense reasoning. Now it is an informal form of reasoning which can be gained through experiences. Exactly. Next is common sense reasoning. It is an informal form of reasoning which can be gained through experiences. Common sense देखो. It simulates the human ability जैसा human being common sense का use करता है. ठीक है? देखो अभी कितना कॉमन सेंस यूज करते हैं. हमको बाहर जाने को नहीं बोला तो भी हम बाहर जाते हैं. क्यों? कॉमन सेंस यूज करते हैं हम हमारा कि भाई कोरोना दिखता कैसा है वो देखने जाते हैं. बराबर? एनीवे, so which can be gained through experiences. So common sense simulates the human ability to make presumptions about events which occur on every day. Okay, so it relies on good judgment rather than exact logic and operates on heuristic knowledge and heuristic rules. Fine. So one person can be at one place at a time. So if I put my hand in a fire, then it will burn. Of course, अभी ये कॉमन सेंस है कि भाई आग है, आग में कुछ भी जाता है तो जल जाता है. तो अभी ये कॉमन सेंस ऑटोमेटिकली हम में जनरेट हो जाता है. हम बिना स्टेयर्स के नीचे उतरने का ट्राई करेंगे तो भाई हम गिर सकते हैं. हम जजमेंट लगाते 2 फीट से जंप करेंगे तो शायद मैं जंप कर पाऊंगा. 4 फीट से, 5 फीट से, 10 फीट से, कितने फीट से जंप करना चाहिए. So that common sense we are using. हम calculations शुरू हो जाते हैं. बराबर? So that is what the common sense reasoning. So same how it can be employed into the system, AI based system. Okay. So there is a use of various heuristic rules or heuristic knowledge we say. Heuristic and a blind. We don't know the result. हो सकता है शायद मैं आग में हाथ भी डाल दूं और जल भी नहीं सकता है. लेकिन मैं क्या सोचता हूँ कि बाकी चीज अगर जल सकती तो मेरा हाथ भी जल सकता. Okay. So that way we use the common sense without actually doing the experiment. We reason, we derive something, right? Next is the monotonic reasoning. Then monotonic reasoning, once the conclusion is taken, then it will remain the same even if we add some other information to exist information in our knowledge. Yes. So in monotonic reasoning, adding knowledge does not decrease the set of prepositions that can be derived. So to solve the monotonic problems, we can derive the valid conclusions from the available facts only, and it will not be affected by new facts. Okay. It is not useful for the real-time systems as in real-time facts get changed, so we cannot use monotonic reasoning. It is used in conventional reasoning systems and a logic-based system which is monotonic. Okay. So the example is like Earth revolves around the sun. बराबर. सो इट इज अ ट्रू फैक्ट. अभी काफी लोगों ने स्टडी किया भाई. ऐसा कि हम मोनोटोनिक यानी क्या है, किसी ने बोल दिया, एक ने देखा, स्टडी किया, एंड इट कैन नॉट बी चेंज इवन इफ वी ऐड अनदर सेंटेंस. फिर बाद में कोई काफी स्टडी करने के बाद कोई बोला द मून रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड अर्थ. फिर कोई बोला और अर्थ इज नॉट राउंड. धीरे धीरे ऐसे फैक्ट्स आने लगे. एक एक ने फैक्ट डिस्क्राइब किए, हाइपोथेसिस रखा है, उसको जस्टिफाई किया, एविडेंसेस दिखाए. ओके. एंड देन दैट इज चेंजिंग. तो मोनोटोनिक में जब तक कोई दूसरा कुछ क्लेम नहीं करता है तब तक वो एक ही मोड में शुरू रहता है. अभी किसी ने बोल दिया दैट कि वह अर्थ मूव्स विद दिस पर्टिकुलर स्पीड. एक स्पीड अगर स्पेसिफाई कर दिया, अभी ये गिनने वाला कौन है भाई, वो फिर एविडेंसेस प्रोवाइड करता है. सो दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग द एविडेंसेस, इजंट इट? सो एडवांटेजेस ऑफ मोनोटोनिक रीजनिंग, like each old proof will always remain valid. If we deduce some facts from available facts, then it will remain valid for always. Disadvantages are like we cannot represent the real world scenarios using monotonic reasoning. The hypothesis knowledge cannot be expressed with monotonic reasoning, which means facts should be true. Since we can only derive conclusions from the old proofs, so new knowledge from the real world cannot be added. Okay. Next is the non-monotonic. Any doubts here? Yes, any questions? Please reply so that we can go for the next part. Non-monotonic reasoning. So now in non-monotonic reasoning, what happens? Some conclusions may be invalidated if we add some more information to our knowledge base. Logic will be said as non-monotonic if some conclusions can be invalidated by adding more knowledge into our knowledge base. It deals with incomplete and uncertain models. So human perception for various things in daily life is a general example of non-monotonic reasoning. Let's suppose now, like birds can fly. ये अभी देखो नॉन मोनोटोनिक बर्ड्स कैन फ्लाई ऐसा किसी ने बोला लेकिन भाई कुछ बर्ड्स ऐसे जिनको फीदर्स होते हैं बट स्टिल दे डोंट फ्लाई isn't it like chickens are there they have the feathers but they don't fly penguins are there they cannot fly right so from the above sentences we can conclude that pt can fly so if we add one another sentence into the knowledge base that pt is a penguin which concludes pt cannot fly so it invalidates the above conclusion. Is that clear now? So this is non-monotonous. कि भाई ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि किसी को भी feather है तो they will fly. Okay, feather or wings. So advantages of non-monotonic reasoning. For real-world systems such as robot navigation, we can use non-monotonic reasoning. In non-monotonic reasoning, we can choose probabilistic facts or can make assumptions. While the disadvantages of non-monotonic will be like, in non-monotonic, the old facts may be invalidated by adding new sentences. And it cannot be used for theorem proving. Okay. So these are the 6 different types of reasoning and those we are going to explore further now. Okay. So again, let's review what are those 6 types of reasoning. Just list out. Come on, one by one. Fast. Yes, what are they? Different types of reasoning. Inductive, deductive, seasoning, reasoning. Abductive, common sense, monotonic, non-monotonic. Very good. Now let's see the last point. The difference is like reasoning in artificial intelligence. Like deductive reasoning uses available facts, information, or knowledge. देखो अभी deductive पहला. Or knowledge to deduce a valid conclusion, whereas inductive reasoning involves making a generalization from a specific facts and observation. दोनों में difference देखो. Got it? Deductive reasoning uses a top-down approach. क्योंकि उसमें पहला theory फिर hypothesis patterns होते and then it becomes observation. Okay. Whereas inductive reasoning uses bottom up. Deductive reasoning moves from generalized statement to valid conclusion. बराबर हम एक जनरलाइज स्टेटमेंट करते हैं थ्योरी करते हैं हाइपोथेसिस बनता है और उससे और इंडक्टिव में हम रिवर्स वे में आते हैं मूव्स फ्रॉम स्पेसिफिक पहले हम ऑब्जर्व करते हैं फिर उसको पैटर्न स्टडी करते हैं फिर हाइपोथेसिस बना रखते हैं एंड देन वी कम आउट विद द फाइनल theory. In deductive reasoning, the conclusions are certain, whereas in inductive reasoning, the conclusions are probabilistic. यानी हो भी सकता है नहीं भी हो सकता है. Pigeons are only white color ऐसा हो भी सकता है. There might be some other color. लेकिन भाई जब तक हम देखते जा रहे हैं हमारा ऑब्जर्वेशन है हम यही बताते हैं. Similarly, it happens in the diagnosis of patient also. Okay. Deductive arguments can be valid or invalid, which means if premises are true, the conclusions must be true. Whereas the inductive argument can be strong or weak, which means the conclusion may be false even if the premises are. Okay, premises यानी facts. Got it? Got the difference between these two? Yes? Have you understood the difference? Fine. Okay. So now we'll just stop here. The last one, that argument, deductive, the valid, invalid statement, sound, unsound. Okay. And here, inductive, the reasons might be strong or weak, cogent, uncogent, and here. So we'll just stop here for today. Fine. If any questions are